Hey everyone, this is Nick with the Truck Insurance Channel. Hang tight just a minute. Okay, perfect. All right, guys, so feel free to drop a comment below with any questions you may have, whether it's about insurance or starting the trucking company. Any and every comment, we'll do our best to answer. We're going to give it just a few more minutes before we get started. So, Daniel, are you asking about the cost of renting the truck or the cost of insuring the truck? The cost of insurance is going to vary. There are several factors that play into the total cost of the insurance. Your three big things are going to be your credit, your driving record, and the age of your drivers. So it's hard to give a concrete number when talking about the cost of insurance. However, it could be anywhere. I've seen policies as low as $1,000 a month. I've seen policies as high as $4,000 a month. I mean, it really is going to depend on those factors as to what your rate would look like. If you are interested in seeing what the rate would look like, we can have you fill out our quote form, and we'll get that taken care of for you. Daniel, what state are you in? So Ranger 83178, are you asking about insurance companies that would give a veterans discount? Guys, I'm dropping the link in the comment section to request a quote for anyone out there that would like to request one. To answer your question earlier, Ranger 83178, there isn't really any discounts in regards to veterans. Now, you can get discounts for things like prior insurance and having your own ELD. So there are several discounts that we can look into as far as that goes, but specifically for a veterans discount, we don't have anything like that. So Ken, as far as on the cook and the DOT, have you already applied for your DOT number? Have you done your actual application? Okay. So what I'm going to have you do is have you fill out our quote form. I linked that in the comment section, and we'll take care of doing a quote for cooking the DOT. What I'll have to do is I'll have to look and see what the requirements are based on how you filled out your application. The 750,000 is the minimum limit for once you're ready to operate. You know, most of your brokers and such are going to want to see $1 million. However, depending on how you did your application, you could have a lower required limit to be able to cook the DOT. And if anything, you can go in and fill out an MCS 150 that will allow you to get that limit lowered based on the weight class of the vehicle. So you'll want to have a vehicle under 10,000 pounds to be able to get a lower limit. Brandon, we'd be happy to help you out. What state are you in? And Daniel, we are not currently doing business in Connecticut directly. However, if you do fill out our quote form, we have an agency that we do business with by the name of Tailored Insurance Group, and they will be able to help you out. If you fill out the quote form, it will go directly over to them, and they'll get back with you for a quote. Same thing for you, Brandon. In California, same situation. If you get our quote form filled out, our agency, partner agency, Tailored Insurance Group will be in touch. Okay, so Ken, with you already having a vehicle under 10,000 pounds on your application, then the minimum required limit should be the 300,000. So just fill the quote form out that I linked in the description, and we'll get a quote done for you in order for it to cook your DOT. Eccentric, my apologies. Didn't mean to skip over you. As far as filing the MC65, it should only take a day or two, but it's California, so it may take a little bit longer. To answer your question, Brandon, on the rentals, so Ryder and Budget, yes, we do have the direct contacts over there. However, Enterprise and Penske, we can also get you set up if you decide to rent with them. Patron T. So in order to go active, you're going to get a trucking insurance policy that satisfies the requirements of the FMCSA based on the application that you fill out when filing for your DOT number. Okay, so to answer the question on the screen here, so you've got your license, your BOC3 is completed, your UCR is completed, you've got your DOT and MC number. So basically, the last step is to get your insurance in place. The requirement does vary based on how you filled out your application. I'd have to actually look up your DOT number in order to be 100%. But depending on how you filled your application out, it's going to be either a requirement of 300,000 or 750,000 to just get active. And then Amazon Relay has separate requirements for that. Okay, so how do you get insurance and go active with a rental truck? When you're filling out our quote form, there will be a drop down menu after you click that you'd like to rent, and it will have different rental company options. You'll select who you plan on renting with based on, your area, what the availability is, and so on. And then that is what we will use. That information that populates, it'll be a VIN number that we'll use in order to get your policy started. And that's actually how your DOT will go active. Once your DOT number is active, then we'll go ahead and swap the VIN numbers to whatever VIN you'll end up picking up. Ken, is there any specific reason why your company is out of Atlanta and you're in California? Brandon, my recommendation, like I said, is just to fill that quote form out. Unfortunately, renting in California is very limited to which rental company or which insurance companies you can get. But if you'll fill the quote form out, we'll do our best to get you the best rate we can. So if you're just trying to work off the load board, your standard requirements that the majority of brokers are going to want to see are going to be your $1 million in auto liability and $100,000 in cargo. There are some brokers that you may come across that want to see general liability. Amazon is one of those, but there are other brokers out there that will want to see general liability. Usually the amount is going to be a $1 million per occurrence and $2 million general aggregate on the policy. General aggregate just means that is the maximum amount that they will pay during the policy term. Pierre, believe it or not, the best place for you to find a dispatcher is going to be through the trucking Facebook groups. If you go on Facebook and go into the group finder, you'll find several different companies several different groups that advertise dispatching services. Just go ahead and join one of those groups. Once you're ready to actually get a dispatcher hired on to help you, go ahead and make a post in there. Just let them know where you're located and that you're looking for a dispatcher and that you're a new authority. More than likely, you'll hear from someone very quickly. So, Ken, on living in California or being licensed in California, but then having your business operate out of Atlanta, the biggest concern there is the rental company wants everything to match up. They want the business owner to be licensed in the state that you're operating out of. So there could be some issues there as far as you being licensed in California but operating out of Atlanta. Pierre, I wanted to touch one more time on the dispatchers and had one additional question for you. Are you planning to try to do local, or are you looking at doing over the road? The majority of the time with new authorities, most dispatchers are going to want you to go over the road. Hey, so Elviston, this is a great question. Congratulations on getting your authority application submitted. We would be happy to help you. I'll drop a link again. I know it's several comments up to our quote form. And if you can get our quote form filled out, we'll be happy to help you. So if you're wanting to stay regional, Florida to North Carolina, just make sure you specify that when you're looking for a dispatcher, and that way they know what you're trying to accomplish. You may find yourself to be a little bit limited by just staying regional. However, work that out with the dispatcher that you decide to go with. Remember that dispatchers that charge more are typically better. You get what you pay for. Hey, Yusuf. So the 21-day activation period starts from the day you apply for your DOT number. Now, if you apply for your DOT number on a Friday, your 21-day waiting period or activation period does not start until that following Monday. So 21 days from the date of application is how long you have to wait in order to go active. Now, there is a misconception on the insurance with all of this. So that doesn't mean that you have to have insurance within the 21-day period or you have to reapply. It just means that you have to wait the 21 days at a minimum to be able to go active. The majority of people are obviously going to want to go active as soon as possible. So we recommend starting the insurance on either the 18th or 19th day of the 21 days in order to go active on time. So, Elviston, unfortunately, we do not have a license in New York at this time. However, if you want to go ahead and fill the quote form out, we will see what we can do for you. Just looking through the comments, guys, just trying to make sure I didn't miss anyone's question. Just a second here. Brandon, are you planning to stay within the state of California, or are you planning to go, all 48 states? So, more than likely, you're going to have to get a motor carrier permit from the California DMV. Yeah, man, no problem. Appreciate the questions. Appreciate you joining the live here. Does anybody else have any additional questions? Yeah, Josh, this is our first time going live, so we're hoping to do these more often. As long as we keep having people join in and have questions, we'll keep it up. Question from Driven Enterprises LLC. So, question is how long do you have to get insurance before they make your numbers inactive? So, typically, you have 90 days from the day you apply to have the insurance in place before you would have to complete a new application. So, Up and Up has a question regarding how do you get a COI for rentals and brokers, and what is a COI? So, COI stands for Certificate of Insurance. That should be provided to you by your agent. If you are a customer of ours, you have the ability to issue your own certificates of insurance through our agency system. That gets set up once your policy starts. As far as getting a COI for rentals, there are, each requirement that has to be met for different rental companies. And your agent should be able to get the requirements from you, which are provided by the rental company, and get that set up for you. Do you have insurance currently, or are you still shopping around? Where are you located? Okay, you're looking in Illinois. We'd be happy to help you out, man. If you fill out our quote form, we can get that taken care of for you. You may have joined afterwards. I had linked the quote form previously. I'm going to drop another link one more time for that, just so that way for anyone who missed it. Hey, Kelvin. So we don't currently write business directly in Alabama. However, if you fill out our quote form, our partner agency can help you out, Tailored Insurance Group. And in fact, actually, Kelvin, we can write in Alabama now. My mistake there. So we just recently got licensed for Alabama. So take care of filling that quote form out, and we'll be happy to help you. Alpha 333, we appreciate it. Thank you so much, and we appreciate you being a customer, and we appreciate you joining the live. Hey, Nino. Welcome to the live. Appreciate you being here. So we got a question from Rick here. Can I get an insurance quote before I apply for a DOT number? Absolutely. You can. So if you fill out our quote form, any information you don't have, just leave blank. And there are certain fields that are required, but those fields are general information that you will have. But you don't actually need a DOT number in order to apply. If you want to get a roundabout quote prior to applying, you're happy to do that. So we have a question from Josh about, can I put a personal auto on my commercial policy instead of canceling my coverage when I don't have work? To answer that question in short, the answer would be yes. It's very similar to a previous video that we had talking about cooking your DOT number. However, in order to make that switch, you would have to turn the truck in. And with truck availability being, lower than normal right now, you'll want to weigh your options there, and on how long it may take you to get another truck if you do turn the prior truck in. But to answer your question, yes, you can put your personal auto on the policy in order to keep the policy active and keep your DOT number in good standing. So, as far as best apps to download for load boards, we recommend DAT and Truck Stop as well. And I'll drop a link real quick to both of those. Give me just a second here. So first link I dropped is going to be for DAT. Second link is for truck stop. Hey, David. Let's see here. We have a question from David. He says, "Does the value of the equipment being insured make a huge difference in the quote, or is it the actual auto liability and cargo insurance that makes it all expensive?" So, to answer your question, yes and no. The higher the value of the vehicle, the more expensive the insurance is as far as for that portion of the insurance. So that portion is called physical damage. It's what we refer to in the commercial world as comp and collision. You're probably more familiar with on a personal vehicle. And as far as the liability and cargo goes, the liability is always going to be the bulk of your cost. Cargo is pretty inexpensive 99% of the time, so that one doesn't really this doesn't really affect the rate very much, and the truck doesn't really have anything to do with the actual cargo cost. It's more so what you're hauling. So, Kelvin, a question about Daniel. Yeah, he's doing all right. Just staying as busy as ever, trying to get content out. That's why another reason why we wanted to do this live, so that way we can get an idea of what information people want to hear about, and what information, what questions you guys have, in order to plan future content. So, yep, just busy as ever. And we're hoping to actually launch a mobile app soon. So that's been a big priority for him at the moment. So hopefully, once we get that going, everybody will really appreciate and enjoy that. As to answer your question on what company is best to rent from, really it's honestly based on availability at right now. Um, Budget has some great rates at the moment. But really, the best rental company is going to be based on availability and who you negotiate with. Welcome to the live, MK. So, to answer your question on advice for new ventures, any good brokers and factoring companies, as well as insurance. To answer the last part of that question first about the insurance, we're going to do our best, obviously, to get you the best rate that we can, and not only that, but make sure that you have everything you need. So definitely put in a quote request, for the insurance. And then as far as factoring companies, one really good factoring company is RTS. They do the freight factoring and fuel cards. So I will drop a link to them below. You can check them out. Here, I'll go ahead and drop that now. Actually, give me just a second here. And then as far as advice to new ventures, to answer that last part of that question there. So really, honestly, just hustle. More than anything else, you got to hustle. If you are renting a truck, for example, and you submit, to apply for a commercial account for a rental truck, and it's going to take 5 to 10 business days to hear back, like call every single day, call the rental companies. When they tell you they won't have trucks for, a week or 2 weeks or 10 days, call them back tomorrow, call them back the next day. The person that continually tries to make contact and continually hustles to get that truck is going to get it first. Not the person who says, okay, cool, I'll wait 2 weeks and call back. So really just, it's a game of hustling as hard as you can and, going after what you want. So David, good question. Is there a way to reduce insurance premium if I were to park the truck for 3 months over the winter? Yeah, there are several different ways to reduce the premium. At the end of the day, the only thing you need to keep your DOT number active is going to be the minimum liability limit. So if you were to, take a break, instead of having to voluntarily revoke your authority, you can keep your authority in good standing and keep it active by reducing your coverages down to the minimums. And that way you keep your authority active. And when you're ready to start working again, you just shoot us an email and say, hey, I'd like to get my coverages back to where I'm ready to haul. And we make those changes. It takes 15 or 20 minutes, nothing too complicated. So to answer the question, I just applied for my DOT and MC number a week ago, and I received a letter from the FMCSA today telling me I'm approved. So what can I do after this? There are a couple things you want to go ahead and do. The first thing is going to be completing your BOC3 filing. Once you complete your BOC3 filing, that should be a fee of $25. You'll want to complete your UCR registration. And then finally, after your UCR and BOC3 are completed, the last thing to do will be to get your insurance in place. So the insurance, of course, that's our specialty here. If you want to fill out our quote request, then we'll take care of getting a quote sent over to you, and then we can schedule a call to go over it. And anyone out there, would you guys like to have a link to the BOC3 and UCR registrations? So, Josh, I just want to clarify your question here. Are you asking how to apply for Amazon Relay? What coverages are needed? Um, let's narrow this down just a little bit. So, Kiflam, I'm assuming you're wanting a link to the BOC3 and UCR, correct? And MK, we will definitely post the video. So I've linked the BOC3 and the UCR below to anyone who needs it. Let's check out Josh's question here. So, what kind of coverage do you need for Amazon Relay? So, a couple things. You're going to want to have $1 million in auto liability. You're going to want to have $100,000 in cargo. You're going to want to have general liability at a $1 million per occurrence and $2 million aggregate. And again, what that aggregate means is that that's the maximum amount that they will pay for claims throughout the policy term. Now, there are a couple other things when you're completing your Amazon application where questions come up about workers' compensation because it does say that it is required. However, if you read a little bit deeper into it, it says if it applies to you that it's required. So basically, for workers' comp, the only time that you will have that required is if you have W-2 employees. So if you are, let's say, for example, you start your trucking company and you decide that you're not going to drive, you're going to hire a driver. So when you hire that driver, if you make him a W-2 employee and you want to go apply for Amazon Relay, you will need workers' comp at that time. Now, let's say you hire that driver as a contracted 1099 employee. Then you would not be required to have workers' comp. That's how we recommend doing it, simply because it's going to save you money on your insurance premiums throughout the year. So, to answer this question regarding cooking your authority, the $300,000, what they call CSL, which stands for combined single limit, that coverage, that amount of coverage is the requirement if you have selected a 10,000 pound or less vehicle when completing your authority application. So that would be correct. That would be the coverage you need as far as just to cook the authority. I know this is another piece to that question we just answered. So the answer is yes. A combined single limit does apply to all three. Hey, Alex. So, great question here. You're in the process of buying your first semi. You want to know if the bobtail insurance will be enough just to get the truck home. The answer to that question is yes. So while you don't need the DOT number and MC number in order to get the truck home, you can go purchase the truck and drive it home with a bobtail policy. MK, the only way that I would say that it would be worth it to switch it to Texas would be if you're going to be operating out of Texas. Like if you're going to actually be moving to Texas, and if so, then you would want to get a Texas license. If you're going to be operating out of California, you want to keep a California license. So you want everything to line up and match. You want where you're operating your business out of to be the state that you're licensed in. So as far as renting a box truck for your first month, and then as long as business goes well, you're wanting to purchase a truck at that point, each rental company has slightly different requirements. However, the standard requirements are going to be that $1 million in auto liability, that $100,000 in cargo. And then for each different company, you will have a different physical damage requirement. So it just is going to be dependent on which rental company you decide to go with. Hey, Yusuf. So, are we able to find an insurance quote that would meet Amazon Relay's requirements? Absolutely, we are. What state are you located in? Okay, so you're located in California. So, we aren't directly licensed in California. However, if you choose to fill out our quote form, an agency that we partner with by the name of Tailored Insurance Group will be able to assist you in getting insurance, and they can help you meet Amazon's requirements. Alex, that sounds great. Best of luck getting the vehicle home. Stay safe. Josh, to answer your question, it's a great question here. What is the difference between occupational accident and workers' compensation? Simply put, occupational accident is an elective coverage that a contractor can purchase to cover injuries while working, whereas workers' comp is going to be it covers W 2 employees' uh, injuries while actually working. Hey, Sam. So we aren't directly licensed in Massachusetts. However, again, same as the question from Yosef, if you want to fill out our quote form, we will be able to get our partner agency to help you out. Quote form will go directly over to them. They will be in contact with you to get the quote completed. So we are going to go ahead and wrap up here. If you guys would like to drop any final questions, go ahead now. We'll be doing another live Q&A next Tuesday. Should be around the same time, but we'll make sure we get a post out about it. So Moses, we are not licensed in New York, and our partner agency, Tailored Insurance Group, is not either. Unfortunately, New York is a very hard market to get coverage in. Um, so since we're not currently licensed there, and neither is our partner agency, unfortunately, we will have a hard time helping you get a quote on that one. No problem, Sam. Appreciate it. Appreciate you joining us tonight. Chris, so we're not currently licensed in Missouri. However, you can fill out the quote form. Like previously mentioned, I don't know when you joined here, but Tailored Insurance Group, our partner agency, will be able to help you out with a quote. Are you having any issues with Progressive currently? What's going on? Hey, Tyler, thanks for joining the live. So, not currently, we are not. But again, if you fill out our quote form, we will still be able to help you out through our partner agency. Chris, to circle back around, to your question about Missouri and Progressive and whatnot. Are you more so having a problem with pricing, or are you having a problem with your agent getting certificates? Give me a little more details. One of the major shippers you're trying to use doesn't work with Progressive. Which shipper is that? Nucor. Okay. I would love to see what their insurance requirements are. There's a possibility that maybe there's a type of coverage that Progressive doesn't offer that they're requiring, but I would love to see their COI requirements. If you have a PDF that shows what their requirements are, I'd love to take a look at it. You can email a copy of it over to office@charlesstring.com, and maybe we can help clarify some of that information. So you've completed your LLC, BOC3, UCR, and you have your DOT and MC numbers. You're going to fill out our quote form. So basically, that's all you have to do at this point. Fill out the quote form, and we will get a copy of a quote sent over to you, and then we will set up a quote review call, basically, and we'll go over the details of the quote, pricing, coverages, and all of that. Appreciate that, Chris. Like I said, I'd love to see those requirements. So we may be able to set up a call and talk about it at a later date if you want to send that over. And guys, I'm also, to close this out here, I'm just going to drop a link to schedule a call for anyone who wants to schedule a call, has additional questions, or needs like some one-on-one conversation. I'm going to drop a link to that, and then we will go ahead and close out the live for tonight. All right, guys. So I have posted the link to schedule consultation calls. Keep in mind, guys, we don't charge for consultation calls. So if you need to get one set up, feel free to go into that link. It's free to do. We'd love to help you out in any way that we can. And again, we will be live next Tuesday as well. So keep an eye out for a post about that live. Thanks, everybody, and have a great night.